All right, Ash Chua. Did I see? I'm looking at Will now, our producer. Did I see him having selfies with fans?
Yeah.
Well, so where's he at now,
Just got photographic evidence of that.
So
actually,
Damo, where's he at? Because this is a young man who came into the fold close to 20 years ago as a humble, quiet... And as the great Winston Churchill once said about a retiring parliamentarian in England, a humble man with much about which to be humble. So Ash had a lot to be humble about when he came and joined us. How has that turned into someone having selfies with fans on the street?
And he's battling, Jim, with what's going on at Triple M at the moment. We've introduced a succession plan to the whole stats department. It's industry leading, as we know, and Ash has been the industry leader.
Yes.
And he still is. There's still no peer to what's going on with Ash's work, and maybe until recently. But Ethan Meldrum is that man who is now going to see. And that, look, Ash is part of the succession plan. Yeah, Ethan. Ash is part of the succession
don't
plan.
Look at me, Fat.
Well, Bill, this is
our man, Ethan.
Ethan, who does great work with us.
This is part of what we're about to talk about, Bill, because some succession plans work well, like Paul Roos into John Longmire, Paul Roos into Simon Goodwin.
Yes.
Others don't work so well. Mick Moldhouse into Nathan Buckley, Alistair Clarkson into Sam Mitchell. They just take off. So I don't know where we're at with ours at the moment. And I just want to retrace some steps, though, Jim, before I get you to tell us where we're at. So, look, Ethan's been going really well, but his debut was underwhelming. This is back to early last year, and he's just easing his way, finding his way.
Anyone hasn't actually touched it yet, Eth, on this ground, playing in this game?
Finn Maginis, no disposal so far.
Just following up there, is Finn Maginis a relative to Finn McGuinness?
Yeah, Finn McGuinness, sorry.
Yeah, let's go.
I say, just thought you were being creative there.
Maginis.
Again, he's got to the point where he's taking Ash on, but again, there were early problems to him in this succession plan, because not only did Bill not know his name, others, as you're about to hear, also on his own station didn't know the succession plan was underway with Ethan.
We've also got Heath Meldrum here.
Rao, what's he at, please? Ash,
And you and Meldrum, of course, with the Red Z blending stats. Ewan, what have you got for us tonight?
That's Ethan Meldrum beats.
Fritz, Ash hasn't been great tonight. Ewan, Ethan.
Also tells around the grounds, Rabs, get back to the MCG. So Ethan.
That's Ethan. Opportunity to go back in the middle. Not sure of his surname, but his name's Ethan.
So even Rab's got a mention there, Jim. Now, what this was doing, even though Ash signed off on this succession plan, Bill, he's normally unflappable and Mr. Nice Guy, and he's my favourite person on Triple M and always will be, but he started getting prickly.
He told me that he feels he's above where you're at the moment.
Is that right?
And he's only been there a short while. That's what he told me. He just said, I feel like Ash is going in the old way.
Well, then, in that case, stay close to your enemies. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Oh, Ash is now. Look at the body language.
He got his back up there.
The arms folded. He's
Alistair Clarkson, Sam Mitchell style sort of succession plan.
He's going very well, Ethan. He's doing a great job.
Now, Jim, I heard you had to get involved with management about this stage of proceedings because you head up the channel, the Triple M cricket coverage, as you do the footy coverage, and you had the captain's call on this, and you said, I want Ash for the first test. And actually want him for the all test, provided he goes well in the first test.
The late, great Rodney William Marsh used to say when he broke a finger or whatever, and Kevin Wright or whoever the next keeper was lurking underneath.
Roger Woolley.
Yeah, Steve Rickson. He would tape the fingers up and play on. He said, never give a sucker an even break.
Right.
So, Ash,
well, you gave him the gloves for the first test, but a problem emerged with his cricket issues.
And what was the run rate for Australia's innings in that first innings? It was up around 4-5, wasn't it? It was pretty high, I think.
Yes.
So, Jim, you got involved again with management, and Ash might have... The story that went around was Ash had a longer-range diary entry, I've got a boys' weekend for the second test. Now, unfortunately for Ash, that extended to the second, third, fourth, and fifth
all the way
test.
through the series.
Yeah, and Ethan just took over from this point. And then we get to round one of the AFL season again, and Ethan's doing the season opening game, the famous grand final rematch. So, look, you can take up these issues, can't you, Duck? And you would, I reckon, resolve some issues in the past, maybe in a boxing ring or outside a pub, and others might just do it over a beer. Nathan Brown would do it over an arm wrestle with Howie.
Yeah.
Ash decided he needs to get Ethan out to sort it out once and for all.
I'm sensing Chu's going to have some sort of showdown, whether they UFC style, get in the boxing ring, or even maybe just an arm wrestle. Chu.
Table tennis. We'll take it down the table tennis table. That's the best
Really
sport.
intimidating
Good at
on
that
the
sport.
table tennis.
Yeah, watch out for my backhand top spin.
Table tennis, Bill.
Watch out for my backhand.
He wouldn't see over the table.
No, and again, poor old Ash, he's still rattled because he then offered this up early in 2022.
Oh, no.
How's he gone on the stat sheet today so far, the octathlete?
Yep, he's had 7 disposals and for Triple M Red Z. Is it, who are we talking about?
Stein.
I just zoned out. I have to take myself off, guys. He hasn't had a stat. See you later.
He hasn't touched it. So, Jim, I don't know where this succession. It's now 2 years in the offing, and I think we're further behind succeeding Ash than we've actually destroyed Ash in the process.
Well, he's gone from a highly operational stats man to a man who's rudderless.
No, and if you're a budding stats person out there, I'd be ringing Triple M. I reckon there's a job, because I don't know about number 2.
You just you get to a level where if you just start zoning out, you're starting to take liberties you just shouldn't be taking.
What about his boy,
really?
Duck? Duck,
Hang on, I just zoned out.
What about his boys' weekend, Duck? Imagine that, Ash, and the boys' weekend.
Yeah, you know, they make
cruisers. There's cruisers over there in the sink. Just have one of them, and we'll have some fairy bread later.
it's that bigger group. They meet in the local telephone box.
Duck's been working on that one for a while.
What was his gag last week?
I like it. Well, I must admit though, with the cricket, I got to the second test and I was operating remotely from the stats department at that point. So I had you and our big boss in my ear saying, right, well, you're going to be with Cal Ferguson, but he's in Adelaide and you're here, and someone else, I think it was Brad Haddon's in Sydney, so it was a bit like that. Anyway, we got halfway through the first stint I did, and he said, well, Ethan's got a stat for anaconda or something. I said, who? He goes, Ethan. I said, who the Ethan? He goes, the bloke who's been doing the digital on the Rush Hour now for 2.5 years. I went, oh, that's Ethan. Sorry, I didn't realise it was the same Ethan.
Oh, yeah.
Because there must be some Sydney stats bloke called Ethan who I'd never heard of.
And you know his surname? Meldrum.
No, thank you, Bill. Well, you didn't say Ethan Meldrum, I would have known.
No, you wouldn't.
He just dropped an anaconda Ethan on me.
Is he related to Molly?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't have known the two. I don't think so.
No, he's quality Heath, and I would be worried if I'm Ash. That's how we wind that up.
Yeah, he's prickly, Ash.
Well, he is because he's worried.
That's right.
If he had nothing to worry about, he wouldn't be prickly, but he knows that Heath's bringing quality to the table, and I think Ash is starting to look behind him a bit, Bernard.
Well, we went for a beer after we did the game last Saturday, and we went across the road to the corner pub, and I went there with Barry Denner and Ash.
Yes, the people's call it. Yeah.
And we went in and we got one, and it was just a little friendly hello to me. And where's Ash? That's what it was called. Where's Ash? And I'm like, where's
friendly
Ash?
hello to you.
Ash who? And the Chu-Man. I'm like, oh shit, Ash is actually a big deal around here. And then Baz came in, they're asking him, and then eventually they said, because I was sitting near the toilet, smart from them, they go, well, eventually he's going to have to come for a piss at some stage. And they got him. That was that selfie you saw just then.
There'll be a couple of his bloody point cook mates.
Yeah.
He would have placed them. I said, when I get there, make sure you ask me for a selfie.
I saw some worrying signs about a year ago with Ash when he sat down and he had 2 phones in front of him.
2 phones?
2 phones.
What does that normally mean to you, Doug? Given you once had 2 phones.
It can only be bad things happening. You're doing something naughty with someone or something.
This coming.
How many do you have?
I've only ever had the 1 phone, Bill, but maybe that was where I went wrong. But no, he seriously, he rolls with the 2 phones.
Hutchie had 3 once, Bill.
Yeah, well, it is
and an iPad.
Concerning.
This is coming from a man who, even though we're only staying in a hotel for 2.5 hours, asked for 2 cards. No, 2. 1 card or 2. 1 card or 2, Mr. Kerry, 2.